This recipe has the delicate, sophisticated name of Vaca Atolada, or cow stuck in the mud. As you can tell by the name, this is not a dainty dish. This is a rugged dish for tough men who deserve a wholesome meal after a whole day of hard toil through rain and wind and weather. It's a satisfying stew of big chunks of beef ribs and lumps of starchy cassava. It was invented by the Carreteiros, the cowboys and cattle drivers of the south and southwestern Brazil. Men who could get a cow unstuck from the mud quicker than you can watch this video. And if they couldn't, well, I guess there'd be more ribs for dinner. This episode of Cuca Brazuca comes to you thanks to the friendly carnivores over at pampasplains.com, the UK's only online food emporium with a passion for Argentinian beef. Argentinian beef comes from cattle that has been naturally reared and grass-fed in the absurdly large plains of the Pampas, which makes their beef supple in texture and rich in taste. Check out their beef, wine and other world food products by visiting their site at www.pampasplains.com. And we thank them for their support of Cuca Brazuca. The origin of this dish is that the Carreteiros would carry with them a certain amount of ribs already cooked and stored in fat. And as they went through the little country roads and the little neighbouring farms, they could pick this, cassava, this large root vegetable that grows wild throughout Brazil, and cook it all in a big pot with some onions, some tomatoes, and whatever herbs or other vegetables they could find, and make themselves a nice hearty meal for the end of the day. This is a typical caipira dish, and that is to say it comes from the countryside of the state of São Paulo. Start by trimming the two ends of a cassava root weighing about 1 kilo. Then peel it. You can use any sturdy potato peeler. If you can't find cassava, don't worry, this recipe will work just as well with potatoes. Cut the root in large chunks and then chop them down into quarters. And cut away the stringy stuff that runs through the very heart of the root. And set your cassava aside in a bowl of water. Now it's time to prepare the ribs. Check out the marbling on this beastie. Place your knife in between the bones and cut the ribs down into separate chunks. Trim away any excess fat if you want. You'll need about 1 kilo of these beautifully prepared ribs. Heat up about 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil in a large pan like a Dutch oven or a casserole dish, and brown the pieces of ribs until they are quite dark. Make a space in the center of the pan and chuck in 2 cups of diced onions and 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, roughly chopped. Stir it all around until the onion and the garlic have become a deep caramel color. And then add a tablespoon of paprika, a tablespoon of ground black pepper, a tablespoon of salt. Add a couple of cups of fresh tomato, roughly chopped, with seeds, skins and all. Stir it all around and then cover with 3 cups of beef stock and 4 cups of water. And 2 or 3 bay leaves. Finally, add in the cassava chunks and make sure they are covered by the juice. Lower the heat to a simmer and leave it bubbling there until the cows come home, or 3 hours, whichever comes first. Of course, you'll want to visit this every now and again, just to give it a quick stir, check if it needs more liquid, and, taunt your hunger. After 3 hours of gentle cooking, the cassava should be nearly dissolved, and the beef should be nearly falling off the bone. Now, I say nearly, because if you overcook this, you'll end up with a very thick soup with prehistoric-looking bones at the bottom. Serve a couple of rib chunks per plate, and cover with some large chunks of cassava and a good ladle full of that muddy sauce. This is a great autumn or winter dish and excellent to eat by the side of a bonfire, even if you're not a cattle driver. If you like our videos, you should check out our website, www.cucabrazuca.com, for all sorts of Brazilian food stuff. Or you can check out what I've been up to by going to facebook.com/cucabrazuca. Or follow @Nando Cuca on Twitter. But if for some mysterious reason all you can think of now is a big juicy steak, then head over to our sponsor site at www.pampasplains.com.